Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm Dwayne with Off Grit, a channel dedicated to helping you live a lifestyle of self-sufficiency. I've got that almost down. I know it's a kind of cheesy tagline, but gotta have one for your YouTube channel, you know. It is Tuesday, January 18th. I'm getting better at keeping track of the dates. Been out here since the end of June, and we're just trucking along here. Right now I've got about 6 projects going on at once. We haven't even started on our house yet. Actually, all this is part of our house. It's part of our homestead. So I shouldn't really say we haven't started on our house, because this is actually part of what we're doing out here. I started with the farm area first because we are going to be starting a farm here soon, and something commercial. It's going to be small, of course, but I needed infrastructure to get that going. This has been something I've wanted to do for a long time. Since I've lived in the HOA neighborhood, I got into the gardening and, the chickens and all that good stuff, and I said, I actually really enjoy this. So it's something I think I want to do as a career. So my wife's going to continue doing her job as a scientist at the university here, and so that's how we're going to do this. And getting land was our first thing. And if y'all want to know the secret to how we got our land, we actually did do something a little different than a lot of people do. And I'll just give you the basics right now. I think I'll make a video like specifically showing exactly what we did. And I should say she did. It was actually my wife's. She undertook that whole process. I dealt with a lot of the closing and dealing with the title companies and all that good stuff. But she actually was the brains behind the operation. So what we did was my wife went on to a map, the county map for where we wanted to buy, and she started just looking at a parcel map and started looking around at parcels and just doing research. There's tons of public information out there. You'd be surprised what's on there. So you can look up a parcel, then you can do a tax search on it, then you can do you can check the assessor site, and you can just see who owns it. So what we did was we found a parcel that looked like, had just been sitting for a long time. There were lots of them, actually. And we said, you know what? Why don't we just send these people a letter? No real estate agent, nothing like that. We just sent a letter. Now, the letter itself was very personalized. It wasn't some cheesy, just fake letter that you send out to 100 different people. We made it personalized to say, hey, we're just a family looking to start our homestead. We really like this county, and we just really wanted to know what your plans were with the property, as far as like, are you interested in selling it? And we made an offer. Now this is the trick to it for us. We had the cash saved up because we were actually going to make a down payment on a house. And we decided that we didn't want to do that, this time around. We decided we wanted to actually build our own homestead. So anyways, we made a cash offer on the property. It was a pretty low offer, honestly. But for whatever reason, we got really lucky, and the organization that owned this property, because it wasn't even a person, it was actually a charity, like a church. And turns out that the church was actually gifted this parcel, and it wasn't even, they just had it. They were paying taxes on it every year, and it was just a timing thing, honestly. We got it at the right time, made a really low offer on the property. At least, we thought it was pretty low. We didn't expect anybody to get back to us, and they got back to us. And we actually had sent letters out to about, I'd say 5 to 10, I can't remember because it's been a while, but sent letters out to about 5, maybe 10 different parcels that we were interested in, that were in an area that we thought, we can manage the trip to Tucson, because we have to keep going back into Tucson because of my wife's job, and my son goes to school there. So anyways, that's how we got our property. We actually made an offer. Obviously, we had to do a lot of research on, dealing with this without a real estate agent. We did, of course, use a title company. There was definitely some drama with this, and I'm not even going to go into it because it's just too long of a video for that. But get your title insurance. That's all I'm going to say. Make sure you get run through a title company. You can do this without a real estate agent. I'm not putting down real estate agents, but you can definitely do it without one. But you really can't and shouldn't do it without a title company because they ensure that you're getting what the owner's selling to you. So that was important. So, basically we facilitated everything, and luckily for us, the person that the organization had a guy that actually had worked in real estate before, so he had some experience. So everything just kind of worked out for us. I mean, I'm not going to say that this would work for everybody. I will say that we did get responses from other people that we sent letters to as well. So. And I believe we had heard this on a podcast. I can't remember the podcast, but this does work. So if you're looking into buying land, everybody goes to Zillow and Land Watch and all that stuff, and that's good. And I have nothing against that. Of course, we were looking at that too, but we just couldn't find anything that we wanted. So we just decided, you know what? Why don't we just look at the parcel map and just send letters to people that look like they're holding their properties. And this property had been held for, I'd say, 15 years, I think. They weren't doing anything with it. So, we said, well, why don't we just offer? So that's the story of how we got this property. And so anyways, here we are today. And now, what I'm doing is I had to get all my permits done through the county for what we're doing here in Cochise County in Arizona. And we picked this county very specifically for the options they have for building out here. I know I've looked at other places, other states, and this is probably the most difficult part about doing this is that the restrictions. And I will say that restrictions in the United States, they kind of suck. They really, not kind of, they do suck. And it's really difficult to build a homestead. The way I'm doing it here, this county is very rare, and the options they have for you to do this kind of thing, because what you'll find is when you go to get permits to build in most counties, in most states, the permit process itself is a freaking headache. It's a bureaucratic nightmare. I mean, there's just so much red tape, and then the cost, and you're paying for that headache. So I mean, we looked at a couple counties, and by the time the permits were all done and we wanted to do the build your own house, I said no way. I said there's no way we can do this. We can't afford it. The permits will they'll break you before you even start. And then if you're running through a bank, you got to do things on a timeline. You got 6 months, and then bam, bam, bam. So I feel like what happens in those processes is that you really kind of rush things together, and it's very stressful. I have plenty of friends that have built houses, and so I knew that this was a real headache process to do it that traditional way. So we chose to do it the way we're doing it by moving to a county. And I would say, to give anybody any kind of advice on this, is that you really first need to do the research. You got to put together a plan of action and say, okay, yes, I want to build a homestead. Yes, I want to have land. And why do I want to have land? And you got to start looking into zoning. You got to look into different counties. You got to look into permits. You got to look into water. There's a plethora of things you got to do. So this project started, even though we're out here on the property now, it started at least a year before we even bought the property. And that's probably a really good tip to take with you if you're looking into doing something like this. You need to start your research now. And, look, you got to be patient, because it can be a headache. I mean, honestly, and it was stressful for us. I remember sitting there at the computer. I still remember the feeling of not having property yet and just being like, man, I really want to do this, and just, but nothing seemed to be working out for us at the time. We just, we couldn't find anything on Land Watch. We couldn't find anything that fit what we were looking to do. So I will say we've been fortunate. Things fell into place, and then when you get opportunity, you just got to take advantage of it and run with it. So that's what we're doing. So anyhow, I hope that helps anybody. Going to tell you to keep watching the videos. As you can see, I've kind of been changing the format a little bit. I've been doing more of how-to videos, and that works better for me, and I hope it works for you guys, to where I'm basically, as I'm doing this homesteading and building our homestead, I'm picking projects that I'm actually doing, and I'm trying to show you guys and gals what the process is, and show you through my own experience. You know, like the last one was a tap and die set, and you know, I know that it may not be thrilling to a lot of people, but it actually really is what I'm doing at the time. And so I'm trying to pick a lot of how-tos that relate directly to homesteading and living a lifestyle of self-sufficiency. So that's the format I'm going to be sticking to for now, and it works. I think it works for me, and I think it's actually going to be more helpful than to just sit and watch me do chores all day. A lot of videos now, that's kind of been the trend with homesteading videos and channels, is that, you know, it's basically video montage of music and watching people do chores, and you know, it does increase your watch hours. And as a YouTube channel, I mean, obviously if I wanted to go that direction, the problem I have with it is just a personal thing for me, is that it doesn't work for me because I don't really enjoy filming like that level of filming, and it does take a lot of work to do. So I'm not slamming the people that do it, because I know it's a full-time job. I personally just, when I'm working on a homestead, I'm focused on my work out here, and I don't have time or the energy or the want to focus on filming. So really what I'm trying to do is take simple things that we're doing out here that can help somebody directly by watching the video and saying, hey, I could actually use this, or they can take notes. I mean, because this is what I did. I try to do what I did before we bought the property, and I would watch videos, how-tos, websites, and I would keep notes, and mental notes as well as physical notes, and actually make sure that I wrote things down, especially the solar stuff, because I had no idea what I was doing at the time. So like I said, that research started a long time before I even came out here. So we were able to somewhat hit the ground running on some of these things. So anyways, I'm going to get back to work now, and I just felt like I wanted to just do like a normal video like this to just talk to people and give you a tip on buying land. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me through the comments, and I hope you all have a good week, and I'll talk to you soon.